But on a more positive note, I want to talk about this Linus Ullmark trade. Man, that was one of the best trades, I think, in the entire offseason. I messaged you right away. I was like, how did you get him for like nothing? What was your initial reaction? Because I think league-wide, everyone thought that was a home run for the Ottawa Senators.
Again, in a vacuum, it's a great trade, right? Now, if you want to put out the negative ones, he's not re-signed after this year. So he's technically only here for a year. Maybe everything blows up and it goes south at the trade deadline. And then all of a sudden, everybody thought Alex DeBrincat was an awesome trade, right? Like, oh man, they got a 40 goal scorer for a first round pick and some late round picks. And how could this possibly not work? Now, this is the negative. I haven't seen the playoffs in 7 years. Fan perspective talking. Right now, that was an amazing deal. Not only did you get when they acquired him, he was the reigning Vezina winner. Not anymore, but what a difference a week makes, right? So reigning Vezina winner, you got him for a late first round pick, a fourth liner who's really good on faceoffs, and Mark Kastelik, but doesn't use his body effectively. You're always left wanting more. Like, why aren't you slamming that guy in the corner? Like, there's a really good highlight reel on YouTube where he just lets his check go right past him, and Daniel Alfredsson's giving it to him on the bench. Now, if somebody's going to awaken that part of him, it's going to be the Bruins, right? And then you get rid of Jonas Korpisalo, who was statistically the worst starting goalie in the league last year. Yeah. And you get a reigning Vezina winner for that package. Like, how do you not love that? Now, Ottawa retained $1 million on Jonas Korpisalo, but still $3 million off the cap. Like, you're only adding $2 million in cap space at that point, and you're bringing in Linus Ullmark. But this goes back, I think, to the Chychrun thing, that the league has changed. You're not making hockey trades anymore, right? What you're really doing is there's no space for this guy here. So we got to trade him for pennies on the dollar, because even a meager return, like on Boston's end with Ullmark or Ottawa's end with Chychrun, is you got to get him out of here for what you can get, right? In a cap world, you can't just have a $5 million goalie playing 20 games, right? And Swayman took over. So I think it's an awesome fit. I don't know if you've seen the YouTube videos of like Ullmark joining the team or some podcasts.
I haven't. Enlighten me. This is why I wanted to get you on here. Yeah. I just got to let you guys know that like the way I follow the Canucks is the exact same way that Andrew follows the Ottawa Senators. So him and I can talk for hours, because I'm fascinated. Anyone that like follows their team so well and you get those little details, to me, it's very interesting to hear that. So you tell me what's going on.
Well, it sounds like the kind of guy you and I could have a beer with. He named his kid Harry after Harry Potter. He listed his side hobbies as Dungeons and Dragons and computer games. Big metalhead, right? Like, really relatable dude, right? And then there was a YouTube video of him meeting all the team people, like Steve Stais and the training staff, medical staff, a couple of his teammates and stuff like that. It just seems like a super down-to-earth, easygoing, family-oriented dude, which could be a really good fit for Ottawa. And one thing I also find really interesting is Ottawa's defensive metrics were not as bad as their true defensive numbers last year. In fact, they were better than Boston in a lot of categories, like high danger chances. High danger chances, Boston was better. But in terms of medium and low danger, Ottawa actually played better defense. And hey, you were at that game with me in Vancouver where Ottawa was down 5-0 in the first period. And some of those goals were... let's charitably call them weak. And I think having a steadying influence in the back end is the biggest difference this year compared to next. Now, hopefully he stays healthy. Hopefully there's a defensive system in place in front of him where he can shine. There's a better fit in the top four with Nick Jensen in for Chychrun. So you got that more well-balanced top four. And you got a goalie who's just going to make that save. It's not going to go in under his armpit from the far side of the faceoff circle and things like that. And like, that'll just deflate a team, right? And when you've got a young team like Ottawa too, knowing that you have that Vezina caliber goaltending behind you doesn't just mean you'll take more chances. You're just going to play with a little more confidence, right? You're going to skate that little bit harder to pinch on the opposite end because you know Ullmark has got you covered, or you know,
take more risks. I mean, you don't have to worry about it, right? Like it's when you have someone that you're confident in, the whole team's going to play better. You feel it, you know.
So he seems like just a really good personality for the market, and he's automatically one of the oldest players on the team at 30 years old. So it's just that steadying influence. Somebody who can help in the locker room settle down the guys if they're down one goal going into the third period. Last year, it was just Giroux, right? And maybe a little Travis Hamonic, but it's hard to listen to a guy who's your seventh defenseman who's like just doesn't really have it anymore. He's at the very twilight of his career. So when you've got a guy who's playing at an elite level, like a Giroux, like an Ullmark, hopefully like a Nick Jensen, David Perron, right? Guys who have cup rings or hardware to back it up. It's a lot easier to listen to those guys. And hey, we're in this game. Calm down, play your role, what have you. And I think almost more than his goaltending ability, that stabilizing factor is the best part of this trade.
Yeah.